There are more movies that never get made than there are that are completed. And the same goes for movies that sit on shelves collecting dust. Let's talk about how to turn that failed project into a success. Let me give you some history on the reason why I'm sharing all of this. I had a project that was nearly a go. We prepared pitches and wrote some scripts that got thumbs up by the financing company, and then a week before the production began, the project was pulled. How is this a good thing if the project never happened? Let me break it down into 3 words. Action, action, and action. The biggest part is taking action and actually doing it. But doing it under an insanely tight schedule, we learned some very valuable things. This process first required us to pitch some story ideas to the client. We had very little time, so I hunkered down and came up with 21 concepts within a day. How was I able to come up with that many story ideas so quickly that were at levels ready to pitch to a client? We were aiming for only 5 concepts to be approved, but we did not have specifics as to what they were wanting specifically. So we decided to include a mixture of genres that we felt fit the overall objective they wanted and was something we could produce quickly and within the budget that they were providing. I started just like everyone else with a blank page. Then I started to list genres and story concepts that came to mind. That list is nothing more than a list with a bunch of bullet points and thoughts I had and ideas or basic terms, not at all acceptable for pitching to a client. Now it is time to focus on developing those thoughts into ideas. When time is of the essence, the number one thing I strive to do is make sure my concepts have conflict in them. Let's take, for example, a confined space comedy. What I would do is start by trying to figure out what confined space I might be telling this story in. Coat closet, under a bed, storage closet, jail, kitchen, bathroom, car, trunk of a car, coffin. Let's say in this case I decide to go with the trunk of a car. My next step is to figure out my main character, so I apply the same process. Boy, girl, man, horse wrangler, school teacher, car mechanic, blogger, YouTuber, chef, waiter, waitress, personal trainer, animal rights activist. You get the idea. I am going to choose a blogger for this story. When you get to the point of working in conflict, your next task is to figure out what your character's goal is going to be. Your character needs to have a goal that is something he can really actually accomplish in your story. Now, if it is impossible for your character to accomplish this goal, then it is probably not their goal in the first place. Let's pretend we created our list of goals for our main character the same way that we did for the other tasks. So now we have a number of them to choose from. Let's pretend our goal is as simple as getting out of the trunk. Use the same tactics in figuring out your antagonist. Create a list and choose what you think is the best option. For my story, I'm going to go with exotic animal smugglers. Now we have our blogger who is stuck in the trunk of a car belonging to exotic animal smugglers. It's okay, but not much of a hook in the concept, is there? My final task is to ask myself what I think would be the worst possible thing to happen to our blogger and start making my list. The car blows up, there is a bomb, aliens attack, he's abducted and tested on a spaceship. One thing that I've been told, and it is often true, is that when your story begins to involve aliens or something extremely ridiculous like talking pets and such, keep pushing because you are very close to getting to the point you need to be. Trapped in the trunk with an animal. A deadly snake is in the trunk with him. So there you have it. A comedy about a blogger locked in the trunk of a car belonging to exotic animal smugglers discovers there is a deadly snake in the trunk with him. I applied this approach to each one of my concepts and was able to come up with 21 concepts in roughly a day's time, all receiving praise from the client as they narrowed down their preferences. How does this apply to the fact that the projects failed and never happened? This is a growth mindset that will get you moving and stop your sulking. I now have 21 concepts that I can refine and turn into scripts and shoot. 21 concepts that I did not have before, and if someone comes calling, I have a pool of pre-written concepts I can share, cutting my delivery time drastically. But you don't have a client? I challenge you to write 20 concepts in the next week. In fact, try writing 20 concepts every week until you've nailed down the process, and then think of all the material you can use to pitch to your clients and financiers quickly. The thing that I always hear from industry pros when they're pitching movies to studio execs is the question that they get without fail. What else do you have? Well, this is a good start. Let me know what your failures turned into success stories are in the comments below. Got any questions? Well, you can find me on the socials. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Beam. If you're not subscribed, you can do so by clicking somewhere here on the screen. I share filmmaking advice and inspiration here on this channel with the occasional short film or sketch. In the words of John Ford, never let the truth get in the way of telling a good story. Unless you're in school or doing a report that requires factual information, proper citing, and accuracy, it's a good way to set yourself up for failure. That last part was my words.